All right, everybody, let's dive into this video and start learning about email. Of course, in this video, we're going to be talking about email as if you've never had one before. So if you do have an email, this video will still be educational for you, but it may be a little bit later in the video when we start talking about features and etiquette. But first, what is an email? I'm going to be using a lot of comparisons between an email address and a physical address because both of them are actually very similar. An email address is the location that you can give to other people to allow for them to be able to communicate with you. It is like your address on the internet, essentially. So much like a physical address, like if you give me your physical address, I could write you a letter and I could mail it to you. An email address, if you give me your email address, I could send you an email. So you see how they're kind of similar in that way. An email address is also required by many different websites for you to be able to access their services, still just like a physical address, like how you have to have a physical address here in the Howard County area to be able to get a library card here with us at the library and some documentation that you have that address, et cetera, et cetera. You have to have an email address to be able to sign up for many online services, things like Facebook, Netflix, other websites that you may have heard of previously. So let's get started with creating an email address so that you can get access to those services. But which email should you choose? I mean, there are many different websites that allow for you to create an email. You may have heard of websites like AOL, Outlook, Yahoo, Gmail, and many, many others. And there are even, many websites that typically you wouldn't be able to create an email address, but people have emails for them because they work for that company. Like, for example, here at the library, I have a library email address because I work here. So which one should we pick? Well, Gmail is the best, in my opinion, because it is like a physical address. If you can picture your house, like for your physical address, Gmail is like one of those fancy neighborhoods that allows for you to get access to all sorts of different extra amenities. Gmail allows for you to be able to have a free online storage, as well as access to a place for you to create documents and spreadsheets and slideshows and forms and so many other things. You may not use those right away, but it's nice to have a Gmail. Not only that, because it's also one of the emails that is easiest to connect with other things. So let's create a Gmail. Alrighty, so I have shared my screen here. We are currently on gmail.com, gmail.com. Once you go there, your screen should look like this. And what you can do is you can click on this button right up here that says create an account, and that will allow for us to get started with the process of creating our Gmail account. So what we're going to do is we're going to type in our name here, first name and last name, and then create a username. Now, our username could be anything, and I could just type in a random string of characters if I just wanted to hurry up and get this username created. But we want to create a username that's going to be easy enough for us to remember, because this is an address that we're going to be giving to other people. Either we're going to be typing it frequently, or we are going to be telling someone about it, maybe over the phone or even in person. So we want it to be a thing that not only we can remember, but it's also easy to articulate to other people. A great way to be able to do that is to make it your name, but you may not have a super unique name. For example, I've tried just my own name, and the last name Rutz is apparently more common than I realized. And there's a lot of Ben Rutzes out there in the world, and someone else has already claimed the benrutz@gmail.com email address. So maybe adding some numbers in there would be able to help us. You may think, your birth year, the birth year of someone that you love, or just your favorite number. For example, the number 7 is always a good and, lucky number, right? So we will do that. And now since we have created our, looks like it says that the username is already taken. We need to try another one. Ben Rutz 02 is available, and I am okay with that. I'm good with being number 2. So we've created our email address that we are happy with, or our username that we're happy with. Now it's time to do our password. Now let's go back to that physical address analogy here. Your password is like your keys to your house. If you lose your keys to your house, you can't get in. And so it's incredibly important that you create a password that you can remember, or that you keep your password in a place that you can remember where to access it. Okay. And writing down your password, some people will tell you that it is not a good idea to write it down. But here's the thing. I think that for a lot of folks that I have worked with here at the library, it is more likely that someone is to lose their password than it is for their password to be stolen. And so having a password we can remember is a good step here. All right, so right below here, it says that we have some requirements for what our password can be. It says it has to be 8 or more characters, meaning that it has to be at least let me finish this. It says a mix of letters, numbers, and symbols. Characters are letters, numbers, and symbols. So it has to be at least 8 of those long, okay? So it's good to mix letters, numbers, and symbols all together because the more complicated that your password is to figure out, the less likely that your password will be stolen by someone else. But again, we've got to, make this as easy as we can for our future version of ourselves. What can they remember? What can future Ben remember what the password is? Okay. So whatever that is, it's going to be different for everyone. We will go ahead and create our password. And so I'll just go ahead and type in what I think that my password should be. Okay, I've got my password there. And we have to make sure that we type it in twice. So you can see I typed it in here under the password, and then here under the confirm, and then I will just click on next. Okay, so now it's going to take us to the next screen here, and it is going to allow for us to be able to put in a phone number. Okay. Google will use this number only for security. Your number won't be visible to others, and you can choose later whether or not to use it for other purposes. That's what it says right here. It is good to put a phone number in, but if you only have a landline, you should not put that number in. It is only for cell phones, and it's actually best if you have a smartphone. Because most email services tend to be doing away with the whole text notification thing. And it is sending an alert specifically to your phone in a way that's not a text message. That may sound a little bit confusing, but if you ever forget your password and you have a smartphone, you would know what I'm talking about. So if you do not have a cell phone of any kind, you can skip this step. You can also just choose to skip it anyway. There's a recovery email address option here, but since this is our first ever email address, we don't have one to put in here, so we can skip that as well. All right, so let's go ahead and put in our birthday, and I'm just going to use today's date. So I am recording this video on August 11th, okay? But it's important that we use our actual, our actual year of birth here. Because this is one of those security questions that if you forget your password, it could ask you about your birthday. And if you don't put your actual birthday in there, it could be easy to forget, what we put in there. So, but this is just a sample email for this video only. Throw in your gender, and we are ready for the next step. So now it's going to go on to the privacy and terms. And once you read through this, you come on down to the bottom, click on agree. And then once we do that, it's going to think about it for a little bit here. And then our congratulations, our email address has been created. So let's take a look at what our email features are here with Gmail. Now, if you decided that you wanted to create an email address that was not a Gmail, maybe you wanted to use Google or a Yahoo or AOL or something like that, all email addresses will look fairly similar on this page here. This is your mailbox, and it is the way that you'll access this in the future after this time is you will go to gmail.com and then you will click on the sign in button, and then you will let me just go ahead and do it so I can show you that. So if you're using a computer that you are going to be using often, it may remember you, okay? And so what you can do is you can just click on it to be able to click on your account to be able to sign in. And then you'll just type in your password and you will be able to sign in that way. If you're using an email address or a computer that doesn't remember you, you would have to click on sign in and then you can sign in. All right, so like I said, this is our mailbox. Comparing it to a physical mailbox, if it's the place where people will send you your mail, and that's basically it. So here in our inbox, it looks like we've got one email already, and it's just an email letting us know that we can do some additional things to be able to finish our setup here, we're not going to worry about that right now, but you may want to take a look at this email after you've created yours. Okay, so your inbox is the place that all of your emails will come to whenever somebody sends you an email. But much like a physical address, if you don't give anyone your email, no one will send you any emails. So if you create an email and then you're like, where's all my mail? How come I didn't get anything? Well, if you don't give it to anybody, then they can't do anything with it. Your starred section here, this is the place that you can save like a bunch of messages that you want to remember. So if I click on this email from Google, I click on the star here, I can go to the starred section here and it will have saved it here and it's any of your really, really important emails you can save here so that you can easily get back to them later. The snoozed button is something that you may not get a whole lot of use out of, but I like to use my inbox for my email as kind of like my to-do list. And sometimes I will receive an email that I don't really want to deal with right now. And so what I can do is I can click on that email and then I can come up here to this little clock button, click on that, and then I can choose a time that I want to, later deal with this email. So I can click on later today. And then just like magic, our email has vanished from our inbox and it is now in our snoozed folder here. Now at 6 o'clock today, I'm going to be receiving a new email and it's going to be this email back into my inbox because I said I don't want to deal with it right now until later. Okay, so that's the snoozed button. The sent button, this is the area where you have for all of the emails that you have sent to other people. So if you sent an email to somebody and then you forget that you had sent it to them, or you're trying to remember if you did, you can come in here to the sent button or section and you can see all of the things that you've sent. Drafts, this is all of the emails that you have started but not finished. So for example, if I type my subject new email and then I close that email there, come back to my inbox, still nothing in here. Still nothing in my sent folder, but then in my drafts, we've got our email there, okay? And there is a more button here. You can click on this, and there are a lot more options here. I'm not gonna go through everything. I will just show you 2 more of these options. This is the spam button here. Just like your physical address with mail, I mean, sometimes you get junk mail, from places that you didn't want mail from. And sometimes it'll come here to the spam folder. And if it doesn't come to your spam folder, you could send it to the spam folder by opening the email and let's see if we can mark this one, or because it's from Gmail, we might not be able to. Oh, here we go. This button right here, the little exclamation point and the symbol that looks like a stop sign, we can hit report spam and that will get sent to our spam folder here, okay? The last button I want to tell you about is the trash can. This is the area that you have deleted all of your emails, okay? So if I hit delete on this draft, it will get sent over here to my, well, actually, because it was a draft, it doesn't actually do that. But if I had sent the email, so here, just really quickly, benrutz02@gmail.com, test email, I can hit send. It has come in here to my inbox. I click on this trash can icon, and then I can come over here to the trash, and here it is, the email that I just deleted. Okay. The last thing on here is the labels button. And your inbox, once you start giving out your email to many other people, you might start getting to a place where you're just getting flooded with emails. And I personally like to keep my inbox clean. That's just, I don't know, I like to stay nice and organized. And the way that I do that is I like to create labels. So you can either click on the more button and come down here to create label, or you can just over here in the labels button, you can hit this plus. So once you do that, you can enter in a label name, and this will be like a folder that you can put all of these emails into. Okay, so I like to create one that just says bills, right? So if I get any bills that are being sent to my email address, because I've connected my email to place a service that I'm paying for, I can send all of those emails to this folder. So what I can do is, just for the test purposes here, I can click on this email that I received from Google, and I can click on the Move To button, which is up here at the top. And then I can click on Bills right here. And that is going to move that to this folder here. So if it were in my inbox, it would no longer be in the inbox because it has been moved to the folder that says Bills. Okay. And that's pretty much it for the basics of your Gmail here. But there are a number of other services that are available on your Gmail. And the way that you can find those is you can come up here to the top right-hand corner, and this 9 dots button, this is called the Google Apps button, or also known as the waffle. And you can click on it, and you can see all of the different things that you get for free just by having created a Gmail account. Now, it can be a little overwhelming. There's just a lot here. And if we click on more Google, I mean, there's just all of this different stuff that we get for free, all of these different options here. And we have all of this stuff because we have a Google account. But don't worry about all of that, because that's a lot to look at once. But what we can do is we can click on the waffle and then come down to contacts right here. Okay. And now in this area here, this is going to be like our little address book. You might have one at home of, written down of all of the different phone numbers that you want to keep for people, as well as all of the different physical addresses if you like to mail letters. So if I click on create contact, I can create a contact just like you do in your physical copy that you might have at home. I can type in this person's name, and then I can, type in their email address, their phone number, and then hit save on that. So 02@gmail.com. Okay, I can hit save. All right, and now I have saved this contact into my contacts here. And so if I ever want to email this person, I can just click on it. If I click on it, then I can adjust it. But if I ever want to send an email to them, I can just go back to my Gmail, and I can hit compose, and then I can type in their name, and immediately they will pop up here because I've added them to my contacts. Does that make sense? All right, well, now that I've opened the compose section here, let's go ahead and dive into that. And let's talk about some email etiquette and how people typically will send emails. All right, so the to function up here, this is who we're going to be sending that email to. So since I've just added myself to my contacts, I'll just click on, I'll type in my name and click on that. And so I'll be able to add my email address that way. If we do not have them added into our contacts, we will have to type them completely out their email address completely out. So I'll have to type in benrutz02@gmail.com. Okay. And as you'll see, I have that same email on here twice, but that's just two different ways that you can type in an email in the to section. Over here on the right-hand side, you'll see the button that says CC and BCC. CC means carbon copy, which means that this isn't your main person that you're sending the email to, but it's somebody that you want to be included in the email because you want for them to see what the communication that's happening here. BCC, this is blind carbon copy. And this is an email, this is a section where you can put in someone's email who you want to be able to see everything that's going on, but you don't want the person that you're sending the email to know that you're sending it to this person as well. And so they're just kind of secretly spying on the conversation, and that's what the BCC button does. Okay. Up next here, we have got the subject button. And so this is the area that you'll type in the title of your email that you're going to be sending to people. So we'll just type in test email. But who knows? I mean, you might be, it might be something like, you're trying to reconnect with an old friend who's just recently given you their email. And so you could create a title that would be appropriate to the conversation between you. And in this is called the body of the email here. And just like writing a letter, this is going to be where we type in most of what the email is. Hello there. I'll type that out and then. So, and just like the way that we would write a letter, the first line of the email, you're going to want to address the person. So if we know who we're talking to, it's good to mention their name. So since I'm putting this email to myself, I could say like, hello, Ben. And then what you'll do is you'll hit the comma and then hit the enter button twice to be able to space down a little bit in the email. Okay. So you could use, instead of hello, you could use dear, you could use whatever, or you could even, some people just put in the person's name, right? Just some sort of way to say, hey, hello, kind of start the email there. And then the next, after you've spaced down a couple of times, you will put in all of the information that you want to send to this person. So I want to say, nice to see you. Let's see. It was nice to see you today. I hope that we can connect more in the future. And if you see that there, as I was typing, it started to fill out more of the rest of what I was going to say. That's because of Smart Compose. And if you leave it on, what it can do is it can actually like predict what you're going to say and then keep filling out more of the email for you. It can be helpful. You can also turn it off if you would prefer not to have that. Okay, so after I'm finished writing the body of the text, you're going to want to space down a couple of times, and you're going to want to have like a goodbye kind of message. If it's something businessy, you could say any number of different reasons to say goodbye. But the one that I usually like to say is thanks, comma, and then my name at the end of it there. But you could do like sincerely. You could do see you soon. I mean, there's all sorts of different things, that you could type in there. And then after you have typed in your name, then you're good to go. Then you could hit send, and that would send the email to the person. But there might be some more things that we want to send to the people, and there's more options down here along the bottom. So if you want to send them an attachment, like maybe you created a document on the computer and you want to send them that document, you could click on this button that says attach files, and then you could locate that document on the computer and then open it to be able to send it in there. Okay. You could insert an emoji. These are just like little smiley faces and things like that. So I could do that, and I could add a little smiley face there. And there's a number of different other options there that you can explore. Now, if I don't want to type in the thanks and then my name every single time, I can create what's called a signature. If I click on this button that says Manage Signatures here, Insert Signature, I can click on Manage Signatures, and that'll take us to a really confusing looking page here in our settings. So if we scroll down a bit, let's see, where is our signatures options here? Here it is. So most of the way down, the signature options are down here. And we can click on Create New, My Signature. Click on Create. And then when we edit that, okay, whenever we click on that over here on the right-hand side, I can just type in thanks and then my name below it, or whatever it is that you want to be your sign off, okay? Since we still have this email open, we can't quite see everything on our settings page. So I'm going to minimize this to be able to, well, I guess I don't even have to save it, I guess it'll do it itself. I can hit Save Changes down here. So after we've hit Save Changes, I can come over here to the Insert Signature, and I can just hit on My Signature. And there it is. It has added thanks and then my name to the bottom there. You can even, in the settings, you can even set it up so that it is the default signature. So if I hit on it as my default, every time I open a new email, it will have that at the very bottom of it. Okay? And of course, we can't forget to hit Save Changes on the very bottom here. And we're all set. Our signature is now put in place. Now, of course, we've got to send our email right here. And the way to do that is to hit this blue send button. So what we'll do is we'll hit Send Email. And you can click on your sent folder and you can see that that email has been sent to this person that you're sending the email to. And then that person that is receiving the email can come over here to their inbox. And they'll see that email that has been sent to them. Now, there's one final thing that I wanted to show you about. This is a really cool feature that Gmail has. And it's called scheduling your emails. Much like the snoozed button, you can actually do that with the send feature. So what we'll do is we'll type in this person that is going to be receiving our email, test email 2, and we will paste in our message that we're going to be sending to them. Okay, we've got our signature here. As we mentioned, we had saved that as our default, so we're good to go there. And now this drop-down menu right here next to the send button, if we click on that, you can see it says schedule send. If you click on that, you can either choose one of the predetermined times that are set for the schedule or that are set for the future, or you can click on pick date and time, and you can choose any date in the future to be able to send that email. I mean, we're talking years in the future if you really want to be able to send the email that far ahead. But what we'll do is we'll just click on schedule send, and we will just click for first thing tomorrow morning. And then it will populate in our scheduled folder right here. As you can see that this has been scheduled for to be sent. Now, why would you want to do this? Well, the nice thing about scheduling emails is they're great for helping other people remind, sending a reminder for either yourself or for another person. So if somebody says, make sure that you remind me of XYZ, and you know exactly when they're going to need that reminder, you could send the email now and schedule it for when they need it so that, you're saving your future self from having to remember to remind somebody of something. I use this schedule email feature all the time to schedule reminders for myself. If there's something that somebody tells me that I need to accomplish, and it's like, oh, you got to remember 2 months from now that you're going to be working on XYZ. I schedule myself an email for like a month and a half from now, send that out. And then a month and a half from now, I'll get that email and it'll be right there in my inbox. And I will, take that reminder and go, oh, yes, I need to be working on that. So that's pretty much it. Email 101. We've learned about the inbox, the sent folder, scheduling emails, snoozing emails, and even creating labels and contacts
So all the basics have been covered there. And of course, how to compose and send email with proper email etiquette. If you have any other questions about how to send emails or how to do anything with your email, make sure that you stop on by the Digital Den, and we will be happy to help you with whatever email trouble that you have got going on. Just as a reminder, keeping that password handy and remembering what it is, or keeping it written down in a secure location so that you can always have that on hand and ready to go for being able to log in, is going to be super key, because if you lose your password, you lose the key to your email, and that can be difficult to be able to recover. Okay, coming up on our final video for this series, we will be talking about internet safety. So if there is not something on the internet that we have talked about, don't explore too far beyond email and basic websites like search engines and things like that, because what you don't want to have happen is you don't want to get a virus, and you don't want to go anywhere and open yourself up to some potential issues there. So I'm going to go over some internet safety in the next video. So I hope that you will stick around for that. We will see you in the next Digital Den mini class. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.